BC, what's up, guys? I'm on here doing another Blue Note, a classic Blue Note. Herbie Hancock's Maiden Voyage, 4195, the pinnacle of the 60s, acoustic, melodic, modal. This is Herbie, in my opinion, his best work in the 60s. Straight, everything, the spacing, the compositions, the players, amazing. This one here has the incomparable Freddie Hubbard, George Coleman on tenor sax, Ron Carter on bass, and then you got Tony Williams on drums. And it's funny, out of the three of those guys are in the second quintet. This was stuff building from Herbie working with different players such as Donald Byrd on Royal Flush, right behind me. Donald Byrd, Unimos, Kenny Dorham. Those are all albums that preceded this. This was released in '65. And then his debut, Taking Off, with the great Dexter Gordon. Then he goes into Inventions and Dimensions. And then the album that was the precursor to this one was Imperial Isles, which is straight, is a banger too, man. Those Herbies, it's, man, not to be messed with. Maiden Voyage, man. You talking about, I think I went through 3 different copies until I found a nice, clean stereo and original. I've had Liberties. I wanted an original, and I finally found one. I've had this one for over 15 years. And yeah, these players on here is just, everything just fit into place. I could tell that, I bet Herbie was trying to get Wayne to play on here, but he ended up getting George Coleman. George Coleman, to me, this is one of his best playing. Even Miles talked about this album. He said this is a killer album. Miles even said it was a great album. And he joked with Herbie and said, oh, I could have been on the trumpet instead of Freddie, just joking. But Freddie is just Freddie, man. Freddie is so legendary. He played on all those great albums, man. Especially Roll Call, Hank Mobley. But yeah, the first track, Maiden Voyage, is pretty much, it's almost like it takes you on a trip, a mind trip, man. You're sailing. It gives you that mood of you're sailing across the sea. And you talking about lyrical, man. This Herbie's writing was so top notch, man. You can tell he got all the influences and put it all in one. And man, the guy is still today, touring with Kamasi. The guy still is relevant, man. All this stuff, his body of work is just amazing. You go over to the Headhunters and Maladishi, and oh man, he has so much. And then of course he went into the '80s. He had the big hit Rocket, man. That was like a breakdance champion. But yeah, this one here, Maiden Voyage, and then it goes into the Eye of the Hurricane. He just shows his ability of the modal plan, the hard bopish, of how he just scales, his different scales, his evolution of space. That's what makes Herbie Herbie. Definitely piano wise, he's one of my tops, man. And then he goes into Little One. That's another one that's more of a laid back lyrical masterpiece. Survival of the Fittest is another standout on this album too. I like that one because it pretty much showcases all the players on here and how they talk to each other rhythmically. It just shows how rhythmically they just interact with each other. And then the closer, Dolphin Dance, monster closer. You can't get no better than that. It's just modal, lyrically, Herbie is just, Yes. And then, and then this one here, I would consider this, you got those Penguin Jazz the collections, like masterpiece. They call them masterpieces. This one falls right into that masterpiece layer. They took three songs off of here and they put it in the Hal Leonard. They call it the real book. Hal Leonard is considered top jazz standards of the all jazz, the jazz realm. So you got Maiden Voyage, they picked The Eye of the Hurricane and Dolphin Dance. And if you look at a lot of the jazz players of today, they actually use this as a forbearing of learning. That's like a staple, a jazz staple of what's going on out there. But yeah, Maiden Voyage is such a legendary piece of work for Herbie. Man, this is a juggernaut, man. I definitely recommend anybody that's into Herbie. You definitely this one you have to. I saw Herbie maybe 10 years ago on the Future to Future tour. He did mostly the headhunters, more of the funky type stuff and rock and stuff like that. He never touched this. I definitely want to see Herbie when he does stuff with like the Gershwin world. That like more of an acoustic jazz. That's the Herbie I want to see. I think a lot of people saw that when he performed with Kamasi. When he toured with Kamasi, I think he went into that realm. But yeah, Herbie Hancock, Maiden Voyage, a pinnacle of jazz of the 60s. 1965. Blue Note, 41.95. Herbie Hancock. A central piece you have to add. Peace out, guys. Man, I want to thank Sherv, man. This is a killer, man. Killer album. I want to thank Sherv for letting me do these Blue Notes, man. It's just amazing. Yeah, this anybody out there, I know they've been pressed a lot of different times. You got the Music Matters press. Can't go wrong with the Liberties with the Van Gelder stamp. I would love to see an 80s or maybe a classic series. Because I know this album, I don't know if they ever reissue this album, but it'd be cool to get the classic series. So, for people out there that's not is having a hard, if they do have a hard time finding this record, I believe they did a 75th anniversary, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't see this one around as much. But yeah, VC 41.95 Maiden Voyage. Peace.